Okay, so there's a little lag slowdown in the title screen. Oh well, nothing egregiously bad in my opinion. I mean, some overzealous fans may argue that point, but oh well. It's only in the title screen in the first place. How many times are you going to see this in the playthrough? 7! Uh-oh, wrong game. This is supposed to be part... Oh, never mind, that's a dumb joke. It's not like I've been playing the games in numeric order in the first place. I mean, I started with part 4 as the first Dragon Quest game I did. And then while still completing 4 in one complete playthrough in one video of part 1, then went on to 9, then did 3, yeah, so yeah, I mean, I haven't done the series in chronological order in the first place, so yeah. And besides that, this isn't actually a playthrough yet. This is just to test the settings for OBS recording, and the game itself. So far, other than that title screen, which you're only going to see in the very beginning of the first video anyways. Hopefully that's the only lag or slowdown in frame rate issue. I mean, I personally don't mind so much, but I know a lot of people who watch these videos do, so. Okay, the music slows down a bit and transitions there, but again, nothing, nothing game-breaking or egregious in my eyes or in my opinion, so. Not like I'm not going to do this because of that. Anyways, of course, the other purpose for this video, kind of a future plans thing, is uploaded Minish Cap video 9 yesterday, Tuesday, March 21st. Finish up that series along with Dragon Quest V and Final Fantasy VII before starting any new games. Of course, from then on, only one game at a time. I mean, when I started recording these videos a year ago yesterday, when I started recording these videos, I had a lot more free time to work with. Since then, with the amount of games on the Switch that have come out in the last year, new games and remasters alike, more hours at work at some points, real life, I don't have the amount of free time I used to, which is why I haven't done as many videos lately as I had when I first started this channel. To help that, I've cut video time down from an hour to half an hour, which most people seem to like anyway, so yeah, that works for them as well as me. And after I finish those 3 games, Final Fantasy VII, Minish Cap, and Dragon Quest V, no matter how much I may want to start a second game, I'm not going to do that until I've finished the one I'm currently doing. I mean, that was, like I've said in other videos like this one, that was the problem. When I first started this channel, there were so many games I wanted to do playthroughs of. I just couldn't wait to get started on them. Ocarina of Time, Super Metroid. Dead Manifest's already doing a game or 2. Let's do a 3rd game. I have time. Yeah, back then I might have it. So, yeah. No more. I mean, I'm not, don't want to sound like I'm complaining, it's my own fault. I got myself into this. Just saying, no more. From now on, only one game at a time. But yeah. Everything looks okay on this game, which is good because I did not want to do the PS1 original. I was so heavily dreading this game if I would have had to play the PS1 original. In fact, so much so that I might not have even done a playthrough of this game. I might have just skipped this game entirely if I had actually had to resort to doing the original PS1 version. mean, I know. Some of the people I chat with on Twitch streams will strongly disagree with that, as I've heard from several people who will swear by the original, so to speak. In one, you're right to your opinion. That's all fine and well. But keep in mind, my right to disagree with your opinion. Let's not forget that last part of that equation. You have the right to your opinion, and all is fair and well, but I don't always have to agree with your opinion. Yeah. Especially for this game. The PS1 original sucks, in my opinion. They changed so many, especially in these open, well, this is a little further into the game, but the opening areas, oh good God. In the PS1 original of this game. Forget that crap. Again, I just skip this game and not even do a playthrough of this game if I had to do the PS1 original. I mean, I have tried, believe me, I have tried to get into the original of this game. I just couldn't do it. Every time I'd be sitting there thinking, why am I punishing myself? What have I done to punish myself? Why am I torturing myself? Why am I doing this? Put on the 3DS version and enjoy the game for once instead of dreading it. So, yeah. I mean, I know, well, actually, no, that's a different game. But anyways, yeah, now that I know I can play the original, or the remake, and not have to play the original, I'm actually looking forward to doing 7. Whereas before I was kind of dreading it and cringing at the mere mention of even starting a playthrough. Yeah, you get the idea by now. Moving on. Alright. And now for the other 3DS Dragon Quest game. Again, not a playthrough, just testing the settings here. I mean, if I had to, with this game, if I had to do the PS2 in this case, if I had to do a playthrough of the PS2 original, it wouldn't be as dreaded, as hated, as despised as playing the PS1 original at Part 7. Yeah. But, hopefully I don't have to either. I mean, the title card, again, plays a little slow at times, but again, how many times in the playthrough are you going to see that title screen? Once. At the start of video 1. After that, okay, a little slow down here. Nothing that's going to, be a game changer, Yeah. Okay. Okay, it slows down a little bit in battle. Nothing egregiously bad in my eyes, in my opinion. I mean, again, you're always going to have that overzealous person, frame rate fan, or what. Okay, let's try to put this in ways that's not too obnoxious. I mean, everybody has the right to their opinions. But, I mean, I've seen people, let me put it this way, I've heard people talk about how they would not play a game if it had low frame rate. And I'm thinking, really, dude? I mean, if that works for you, to each their own and all that friendly jargon like that there, but seriously, well then I pay attention to what I'm doing here. But come on now, if I cared about frame rates and graphics and music in video games, frick, what was video game music in 1988? I mean, come on, or graphics. There were some good-looking games in 1988, I guess, looking back at it in contrast to the time. But music, yeah, there was a couple good. Yeah. But overall, I mean, look at the first Dragon Warrior game and the music there. The battle music, that is. Yeah, good God. No wonder why for so long I turned the sound down on the TV and just put on whatever rock album I was into at the time. instead of listening to that battle music in the first Dragon Warrior game. My music for that first playthrough was Skid Row's debut album, 18 in Life, You've Gone Wild, I Remember You. Yeah. And of course, I emphasize music because that's one of the gripes that I've heard so many times, time and time again, about this 3DS remake versus the PS2 original. The PS2 has fully orchestrated soundtrack. Oh, boo hoo hoo. I mean, even people that I've seen do playthroughs of this version of the game will have some ROM hack, some some patch or something with the fully orchestrated soundtrack restored. I'm like, really? I mean, again, if that's your thing, then you're right to your opinion and all that peaceful and friendly stuff like that. They're just, I can't help thinking, yeah, right. Like I care. I mean, again, it's nice when the game has good music. Don't get me wrong, but you're talking to someone who, for the longest time, would turn the sound down on his TV and just play whatever album I wanted to hear at that point in time, and that would be my video game music. So yeah, what do I care? I'm certainly, I mean, it's nice when a game has good music, don't get me wrong, but I'm certainly not going to refuse to play a game or play a different version of the game because it has a better soundtrack. You're going to have to come up with a better reason than that for me to not want to play the game. Frame rates, lag, graphics, music. Come on now, you're going to have to come up with a better reason than that for me to not want to play your game. Like overly abundant, long, tedious, overly drawn out dungeons in the first part of Dragon Quest VII. Well, not really a dungeon, there's no enemies, but yeah. That whole intro sequence in the PS1 original of Dragon Quest VII. That's a good way to make me not want to play your game, alright. That'll do it. Have it have an intro like that. That'll make me not want to play your game, no matter how good the music and graphics may be. Luckily, they took that abomination out and replaced it with something much better for the 3DS remake, which again is why I'm actually now looking forward to doing 7. Now that I know I can play the 3DS and not that abomination of an original with that dungeon setting. Screw that. And of course, right about now, some people who've been watching my videos from the beginning might try to point out, well, hey, you said that same thing about Dragon Quest II in its NES original form and actually ended up liking it. And yes, that worked with that game, but it's not going to with Dragon Quest VII. Sorry. So don't even try that logic with me, dude. Yes, I was wrong about part 2 because of my own stupidity and running from too many battles. Like I said many times during that playthrough of Dragon Warrior 2 NES original. Like I said so many times during that playthrough last year. Most of my negative opinions on that game were based on my stupid running from too many random battles and getting to that last area drastically under leveled. So yeah, Dragon Quest 2, I had so many bad memories of because of my stupid mistakes, not because of bad programming. Dragon Quest 7 and its PS1 original, that's just bad programming. That's just bad design. That's not because of the way you play the game. That's just bad design. Sorry, there is a difference there. Anyways, I know fans of the PS1 original of Part 7 will hate me for saying that and will probably argue vehemently in the comments to this video. And again, that's fine. You're right to your opinion, but I just do not care for the PS1 original of Dragon Quest 7. And that's why I made this video, the first parts of it, to test the settings. And now I know I don't have to play that frick. If I did, I probably would just skip part 7. Wouldn't even play part 7 if I had to play the original. But yeah. Anyways, everything, there's a few issues here and there, but again, nothing that's gonna make or break my decision to play the game versus the original. Again, with this game, it wouldn't be so bad if I had to play the PS2 original other than nostalgia, never having really played the PS2 original until just recently in testing for this series. So, till about 3 months ago, never having played the PS2 original. There's a few slight differences, but nothing as egregiously bad as the PS1 original of Part 7. Let's put it that way. Plus, one thing the 3DS remake of this game has, as I've pointed out in other Dragon Warrior videos, Dragon Quest videos I've made, in the attributes column, lower left corner there, to next level, 1000. Yeah, they actually show that in the attributes. You don't need a priest character with the divinization or whatever it was in Dragon Quest IX. Sorry, Crystal. Dragon Quest IX was an okay game, don't get me wrong. But I don't view it as highly as, some people like Crystal Time Gear do. Holy crap. They're right to their opinion and all that stuff once again, but for me, this game and Part 11 are the two best Dragon Quest games. 9, well, with all due respect to fans of Dragon Quest IX, having played the game, I would rate it towards the bottom of the Dragon Quest list. One of the worst games in the series, but that's just me. Anyways, or like in Part 1, you had the option of getting Gwaelin's love by beating that green dragon, and yes, actually, as it turns out, that is totally optional. You don't even have to fight that green dragon. The only thing that's going to be different is the ending, which for story purposes you kind of want to do, because if you don't save Gwaelin, then who's going to be the parents and grandparents of the kids for Part 2? That whole genealogical line gets rubbed out before it even gets started if you don't save the princess. So yeah, for story purposes you want to do that, but for gameplay purposes, if you're speedrunning the game or whatnot, you don't even have to fight that green dragon to save Gwaelin. But in so doing, the story makes more sense for Part 2, and you get the Gwaelin's love item that tells you how many points you need for the next level up. But again, you need a special item or ability. Here you don't. And this was the first time in Dragon Quest history, well, not counting. Anyways, yeah, you get the idea. As I've made that point before in other Dragon Quest videos and streams anyway, so. So that's one thing I like about the 3DS remake of this game. The soundtrack, I don't really care. It sounds good. It sounds good enough to me. I'm not picky about video game music in the first place. Anyways, so yeah, when I do the playthrough of Dragon Quest VIII, whenever that ends up being, it'll be the 3DS remake as well, not the PS2 original. When that ends up being, I don't know. As again, first and foremost, finish up Final Fantasy VII, Dragon Quest V, and Zelda: The Minish Cap. Finish up those 3 games before I start anything else. And then once I do, only one game at a time from now on, like I've said already in this video. Whether that's a Zelda game, or a Dragon Quest game, or a Final Fantasy game, or a Metroid game, or only play through one game at a time from now on. Of course, I'm reminding myself of that more than anything else, since I'm the one that got myself into that bad predicament in the first place. Oh, I can't wait to play this game. Let's do it. Didn't matter that I was already doing 2 other games. I wanted... Yeah. Anyways... No, I'm just listening to the music. I mean, again, I never said I don't like good video game music. It's just I don't, I'm not going to let it determine what game I play or don't play. Anyways, as always, thanks for watching. Not just this, but any of the videos I have ever or will ever upload to this channel. Nice to know people like them and I'm not wasting my time in making them. And we'll see you next time for either Final Fantasy VII, Minish Cap, or Dragon Quest V. See ya.